Furaha Sabbath Siku. Furaha Sabbath Siku. Furaha Sabbath Siku. Mimi nikupende na wewe, wewe nikupende na mimi, moja kupenda. Ujambo, habari gani? How y'all doing? Happy 7th day. Furaha Sabbath Siku. Furaha Sabbath Siku. Also, pertaining to this month, this is February 2015, Furaha en Yeusi Historia Wezi. Furaha en Yeusi Historia Wezi. Happy Black History Month. To our forefathers and foremothers out there. I've been putting some up every day, pertaining to them. But anyway, that's not what we're about today. Yeah, right today, right now, we talking about Furaha Sabbath Siku. Happy 7th day. We're again reading from the Book of Life. The book that they call the Bible, but it calls itself the Book of Life. I put the, because that's what it is. When you put that extra E, that's what it is. This is the Book of Life. We're coming from the third book of Moses, Tattoo. Moja, Billy, Tattoo. 1, 2, 3. The third book of Moses, Tattoo. Leviticus. The third book of Moses called Leviticus, chapter 8. Read. And the God spoke to Moses, saying, take Aaron and his sons with him, and the garments, the anointing oil, a bull of the sin offering, 2 rams, and a basket of unleavened bread, and gather all the congregation together at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. So Moses did as the God commanded him, and the congregation was gathered together at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And Moses said to the congregation, this is what the God commanded to be done. Then Moses brought Aaron and his sons and washed them with water. And he put the tunic on him and girded him with the sash, clothed him with the robe, and put the ephod on him. And he girded him with the intricately woven band of the ephod, of the ephod, ephod, right, ephod. And with it tied the ephod on him. Then he put the breastplate on him, and he put the Urim and the Thummim in the breastplate. And he put the turban on his head. Also on the turban, on his front, he put the gold plate, the holy crown, as the God had commanded Moses. And Moses took the anointing oil and anointed the tabernacle and all that was in it, and consecrated them. He sprinkled some of it on the altar 7 times, anointed the altar and all its utensils and the laver and its base to consecrate them. And he poured some of the anointing oil on Aaron's head and anointed him to consecrate him. Then Moses brought Aaron's sons and put tunics on them, girded them with sashes, and put hats on them as the God had commanded Moses. And he brought the bull for the sin offering. Then Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the bull for the sin offering, and Moses killed it. Then he took the blood and put some on the horns of the altar all around with his finger, and purified the altar. And he poured the blood at the base of the altar, and he consecrated it to make atonement for it. Then he took all the fat that was on the entrails, the fatty lobe attached to the liver, and the 2 kidneys with their fat, and Moses burned them on the altar. But the bull is hide, his flesh, and his offal he burned with fire outside the camp as the God had commanded Moses. Then he brought the ram as the burnt offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram, and Moses killed it. Then he sprinkled the blood all around on the altar. And he cut the ram into pieces, and Moses burnt the head, the pieces, and the fat. Then he washed the entrails and the legs in water, and Moses burnt the whole ram on the altar. It was a burnt sacrifice for a sweet aroma, an offering made by fire to the God, as the God had commanded Moses. And he brought the second ram, the ram of consecration. Then Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the ram, and Moses killed it. Also, he took some of his blood and put it on the tip of Aaron's right ear, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. Then he brought Aaron's sons, and Moses put some of the blood on the tips of their right ears, on the thumbs of their right hands, and on the big toes of their right feet. And Moses sprinkled the blood all around on the altar. Then he took the fat and the fat tail, all the fat that was on the entrails, the fatty lobe attached to the liver, the two kidneys, and their fat in the right thigh. And from the basket of unleavened bread that was before the God, he took one unleavened cake, a cake of bread anointed with oil, and one wafer, and put them on the fat and on the right thigh. And he put all these in Aaron's hands and in his son's hands, and waved them as a wave offering before the God. Then Moses took them from their hands and burnt them on the altar on the burnt offering. They were consecration offerings for a sweet aroma. That was an offering made by fire to the God. And Moses took the breast and waved it as a wave offering before the God. It was Moses' part of the ram of consecration, as the God had commanded Moses. Then Moses took some of the anointing oil and some of the blood which was on the altar, and sprinkled it on Aaron, on his garments, on his sons, and on the garments of his sons with him. And he consecrated Aaron, his garments, his sons, and the garments of his sons with him. And Moses said to Aaron and his sons, boil the flesh at the door of the tabernacle of meeting, and eat it there with the bread that is in the basket of consecration offering, as I commanded, saying, Aaron and his sons shall eat it. What remains of the flesh and of the bread you shall burn with fire, and you shall not go outside the door of the tabernacle of meeting for 7 days, until the days of your consecration are ended. For 7 days he shall consecrate you, as he has done this day, so the God has commanded to do, to make atonement for you. Therefore you shall stay at the door of the tabernacle of meeting day and night for 7 days, and keep the charge of the God, so that you may not die, for so I have been commanded. So Aaron and his sons did all the things that the God had commanded by the hand of Moses. Chapter 9. It came to pass on the 8th day that Moses called Aaron and his sons and the elders of Israel. And he said to Aaron, take for yourself a young bull as a sin offering, and a ram as a burnt offering, without blemish, and offer them before the God. And to the children of Israel you shall speak, saying, take a kid of the goats as a sin offering, and a calf of and a lamb, both of the first year, without blemish, as a burnt offering. Also a bull and a ram as peace offering to sacrifice before the God, and a grain offering mixed with oil, for today the God will appear to you. So they brought what Moses commanded before the tabernacle of meeting, and all the congregation drew near and stood before the God. Then Moses said, this is the thing which the God commanded you to do, and the glory of the God will appear to you. And Moses said to Aaron, go to the altar, offer your sin offering and your burnt offering, and make atonement for yourself and for the people. Offer the offering of the people and make atonement for them, as the God commanded. Aaron therefore went to the altar and killed the calf of the sin offering, which was for himself. Then the sons of Aaron brought the blood to him, and he dipped his finger in the blood, put it on the horns of the altar, and poured the blood at the base of the altar. But the fat, the kidneys, and the fatty lobe from the liver of the sin offering he burned on the altar, as the God had commanded Moses. The flesh and the hide he burnt with fire outside the camp, and he killed the burnt offering. And Aaron's sons presented to him the blood which he sprinkled all around on the altar. Then they presented the burnt offering to him with its pieces and head, and he burned them on the altar. And he washed the entrails and the legs and burned them with burnt offering on the altar. Then he brought the people's offering and took the goat, which was the sin offering for the people, and killed it and offered it for sins, like the first one. And he brought the burnt offering and offered it according to the prescribed manner. Then he brought the grain offering, took a handful of it, and burnt it on the altar, besides the burnt sacrifice of the morning. He also killed the bull and the ram as sacrifices of peace offerings, which were for the people. And Aaron's sons presented to him the blood, which he sprinkled all around on the altar. And the fat from the bull and the ram, the fatty tail, which covers the entrails and the kidneys, and the fatty lobe attached to the liver. And he put the fat on the breast. Then he burnt the fat on the altar. but the breast and the right thigh Aaron waved as a wave offering before the God as Moses had commanded. Then Aaron lifted his hand toward the people, blessed them, and came down from offering the sin offering, the burnt offering, and peace offerings. And Moses and Aaron went into the tabernacle of meeting and came out and blessed the people. Then the glory of the God appeared to all the people. And fire came out from before the God had consumed the burnt offering and the fat on the altar. When all the people saw it, they shouted and fell on their faces. Chapter 10. Nadab. Nadab and Abihu, the sons of Aaron, each took his censer and put fire on it, put incense on it, and offered profane fire before the God which he had not commanded them. So fire went out from the God and devoured them, and they died before the God. And Moses said to Aaron, this is what the God spoke, saying, by those who come near me, I must be regarded as holy, and before all the people I must be glorified. So Aaron held his peace. Then Moses called Mishael, Mishael, Mishael. Mishael, yeah, Mishael. And Absalom, the sons of Uziel, the uncle of Aaron, and said to them, come near, carry your brethren from before the sanctuary out of the camp. So they went near and carried them by their tunics out of the camp, as Moses had said. And Moses said to Aaron and to Eleazar, Eleazar, and Ithamar, his sons, do not cover your heads, nor tear your clothes, lest you die, and wrath come upon all the people. But let your brethren, the whole house of Israel, beware the burning which the God has kindled. You shall not go out from the door of the tabernacle of meeting, lest you die, for the anointing oil of the God is upon you. And they did according to the word of Moses. Then the God spoke to Aaron, saying, do not drink wine when intoxicating drink, you nor your sons with you. When you go into the tabernacle meeting, lest you die, it shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that you may distinguish between holy and unholy, and between unclean and clean, and that you may teach the children of Israel all the statutes which the God has spoken to them by the hand of Moses. And Moses spoke to Aaron and to Eleazar and Ithamar, his sons who were left. Take the grain offering that remains of the offerings made by fire to the God, and eat it without leaving beside the altar, for it is most holy. You shall eat it in the holy place, because it is your due and your son's due of the sacrifices made by fire to the God, for so I have been commanded. The breast of the wave offering and the thigh of the heave offering you shall eat in a clean place, you, your sons, and your daughters with you, for they are your due and your sons' due, which are giving from the sacrifice of peace offerings of the children of Israel. The thigh of the heave offering and the breast of the wave offering they shall bring with offerings of fat made by fire to offer as a wave offering before the God. And it shall be yours and your sons with you by a statute forever, as the God has commanded. Then Moses made careful inquiry about the gold of the sin offering, and there it was, burnt up. And he was angry with Eleazar, and Ithamar, the sons of Aaron, who were left, saying, why have you not eaten the sin offering in a holy place, since it is most holy, and God has given it to you to bear the guilt of the congregation, to make atonement for them before the God? See, his blood was not brought inside the holy place. Indeed, you should have eaten it in a holy place, as I commanded. And Aaron said to Moses, look, this day they have offered their sin offering and their burnt offering before the God, and such things have befallen me. If I had eaten the sin offering today, would it have been accepted in the sight of the God? So when Moses heard that, he was content. Chapter 11. Now the God spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying to them, speak to the children of Israel, saying, these are the animals which you may eat among all the animals that are on the earth. One more time. He says, these are animals which you may eat. He told Noah they can eat anything you want. But he said, the children of Israel, these are the animals that you may eat. One more time. the children of Israel was his chosen children. So for those of y'all who really can't comprehend, yeah, that's why when I first read this, why I started adjusting my diet. Among the animals, whatever divides the hoof, having closing hooves and chewing the cud, that you may eat. Cattle, the first one he created, cattle, who's who does not shit. He creates manure. Yeah, they do not call. They say bullshit, but that's not what it is. It's called manure or fertilizer because it procreates. Yeah. Nevertheless, these you shall not eat among those that chew the cud or those that have cloven hooves. The camel, because it chews the cud but does not have cloven hooves, is unclean to you. The rocks, hyrax, because it chews the cud but does not have cloven hooves, is unclean to you. The hare, because it chews the cud but does not have cloven hooves, is unclean to you. And the swine, though it divides the hoof, having cloven hooves, yet does not chew the cud, is unclean to you. Their flesh you shall not eat, and their carcass you shall not touch. They are unclean to you. Yeah. These you may eat of all that are in the water. Whatever in the water has fins and scales, whether in the seas or in the rivers, that you may eat. Fins and scales. That's it. That's all I eat. There's none of the scavengers. But all of the seas or in the rivers that do not have fins and scales, all that move in the water or anything which is in the water, they are an abomination to you. They shall be an abomination to you. You shall not eat their flesh, but you shall regard their carcasses as an abomination. Whatever in the water does not have fins and scales, that shall be an abomination to you. And these you shall regard as an abomination among the birds. They shall not be eaten. They are an abomination. The eagle, the vulture, and the buzzard. The eagle, the vulture, and the buzzard. The kite and the falcon after his kind. Every raven after his kind. The ostrich, the short-haired owl, the seagull, and the hawk after his kind. The little owl, the fisher owl, and the screech owl. The white owl, the jackdaw, and the carrion vulture. The stork, the heron after his kind. The hoopoe, and the bat. All flying insects that creep on all fours shall be an abomination to you. Yet these you may eat of every flying insect that creeps on all fours, those which have jointed legs above their feet, which to leap on the earth. You may eat of every flying insect that creeps on all fours, those which have jointed legs above their feet, with which to leap on the earth. Grasshoppers, nigga. These you may eat, the locust after his kind, the destroying locust after his kind, the cricket after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. But all other flying insects which have 4 feet shall be an abomination to you. By these you shall become unclean. Whoever touches the carcass of any of them shall be unclean until evening. Whoever carries part of the carcass of any of them shall wash their clothes and be unclean until evening. The carcass of any animal which divides a foot but is not clean, cloven hooved, or does not chew the cud is unclean to you. Everyone who touches it shall be unclean. And whoever goes on his paws among all kinds of animals that go on all fours, those are unclean to you. Whoever touches any such carcass shall be unclean until evening. Whoever carries any such carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. It is unclean to you. These also shall be unclean to you among the creeping things that creep on the earth, the mole, the mouse, and the large lizard after its kind, the gecko, the monitor lizard, the sand reptile, the sand lizard, and the chameleon. These are unclean to you among all that creep. Whoever touches them when they are dead shall be unclean until evening. Anything on which any of them falls when they are dead shall be unclean, whether it is any item of wood or clothing or skin or sack, whatever item it is in which any work is done, it must be put in water, and it shall be unclean until evening. Then it shall be clean. Any earthen vessel into which any of them fall, you shall break, and whatever is in it shall be unclean. In such a vessel, any edible food upon which water falls becomes unclean, and any drink that may be drunk from it becomes unclean. And everything on which a part of any such carcass falls shall be unclean, whether it is an oven or cooking stove, it shall be broken down, for they are unclean, and shall be unclean to you. Nevertheless, a spring or a cistern in which there is plenty of water shall be clean, but whatever touches any such carcass becomes unclean. And if a part of any such carcass falls on any planting seed which is to be sown, it remains clean. But if any water is put on the seed, and if a part of any such carcass falls on it, it becomes unclean to you. And if any animal which you may eat dies, he who touches his carcass shall be unclean until evening. He who eats of his carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. He also who carries his carcass shall wash his clothes and be unclean until evening. And every creeping thing that creeps on the earth shall be an abomination, and shall not be eaten. Whatever crawls on his belly, whatever goes on all four, or whatever has many feet among all creeping things that creep on the earth, that you shall not eat, for they are an abomination. You shall not make yourself an abominable with any creeping thing that creeps, nor shall you make yourself unclean with them, lest ye be defiled by them. For I am the God, your God. You shall therefore consecrate yourself, and you shall be holy, for I am holy. Neither shall you defile yourself with any creeping thing that creeps on the earth, for I am the God who brings you up out of the land of Egypt to be your God. You shall therefore be holy, for I am holy. This is the law of the animals and the birds and every living creature that moves in the waters, and of every creature that creeps on the earth, to distinguish between the unclean and the clean, and between the animal that may be eaten and the animal that may not be eaten. Rules and regulations, baby, that's all it is. Rules and regulations. You can be part of the world, which when he told Moses, you can eat what you want to. I mean, excuse me, my bad. Samahani, excuse me. He told Noah after the flood, you can eat what you want to eat. But now he's telling his people, there are rules and regulations. If you want to be directly connected to me, that's why I don't eat no scavengers. No scavengers. If it's a scavenger, I don't eat it. The closest thing I think to a scavenger would be a chicken. And a chicken is really not a scavenger because the chicken won't eat anything. Chapter 12. Then the God spoke to Moses, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, If a woman has conceived and born a male child, then she shall be unclean 7 days, as in the days of her customary impurity she shall be unclean. And on the 8th day the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised. She shall then continue in the blood of her purification 33 days. She shall not touch any hallowed thing, nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purification are fulfilled. But if she bears a female child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks, as in her customary impurity, and she shall continue in the blood of her purification 66 days. When the days of her purification are fulfilled, whether for a son or a daughter, she shall bring to the priest a lamb of the first year as a burnt offering, and a young pigeon or a turtle dove as a sin offering to the door of the tabernacle of meeting. Then he shall offer it before the God and make atonement for her, and she shall be clean for the flow of her blood. This is the law for her who was born a male or a female. And if she is not able to bring a lamb, then she may bring 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, one as a burnt offering and the other as a sin offering. So the priest shall make atonement for her, and she will be clean. Chapter 13. And the God spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, When a man has on the skin of his body a swelling, a scab, or a bright spot, and it becomes on the skin of his body like a leprous sore, then he shall be brought to Aaron the priest, or to one of his sons the priest. The priest shall examine the sore on the skin of the body, and if the hair on the sore has turned white, and the sore appears to be deeper than the skin of his body, it is a leprous sore. Then the priest shall examine him and pronounce him unclean. Has turned white. And if the hair on the sore has turned white. Chapter 13, Leviticus, chapter 13, verse 3. And and if the hair on the sore has turned white. So one more time, his ass got to be black. But summer honey, summer honey, summer honey. Yep, gotta be a black ass if everything else is turning white. But if the bright spot is white on the skin of his body and does not appear to be deeper than this skin, and his hair has not turned white, then the priest shall isolate the one who has the sore 7 days. And the priest shall examine him on the 7th day. And indeed, if the sore appears to be as it was, and the sore has not spread on the skin, then the priest shall isolate him another 7 days. Then the priest shall examine him again on the 7th day. And indeed, if the sore has faded, and the sore has not spread on the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. It is only a scab, and he shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scab should at all spread over the skin after he has been seen by the priest for his cleansing, he shall be seen by the priest again. And if the priest sees that the scab has indeed spread on the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is leprosy. When the leprous sore is on a person, then he shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall examine him. And indeed, if the swelling on the skin is white, and it has turned the hair white, and there is a spot of raw flesh in the swelling, it is an old leprosy on the skin of his body. The priest shall pronounce him unclean, and shall not isolate him, for he is unclean. And if leprosy break out all over the skin, and the leprosy covers all the skin of the one who has the sore from his head to his foot, wherever the priest looks, then the priest shall consider. And indeed, if the leprosy has covered all his body, he shall pronounce him clean who has the sore. It has all turned white. He is clean. Wow. Wow. But when raw flesh appears on him, he shall be unclean. Wow. Wow. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 13. Then the priest shall consider, and indeed, if the leprosy has covered him, all his body, he shall pronounce him clean who has the sore. It has all turned white. He is clean. Okay. You hear that? Now you understand where whiteness came from. You understand that? You understand that? Wow. But that doesn't mean he still ain't clean. Hear what he said? He's only unclean when it don't cover him all the way. But when it covers him all the way, wow. But I'm learning as I'm reading. I'm loving this, for real. But when raw flesh appears on him, he shall be unclean. Raw flesh. Yeah. And the priest shall examine the raw flesh and pronounce him to be unclean, for the raw flesh is unclean. It is leprosy. Okay. So leprosy is the raw flesh. Okay. For the raw flesh changes and turns white again, he shall come to the priest. And the priest shall examine it, and indeed if the sore has turned white, then the priest shall pronounce him clean who has the sore. He is clean. If the body develops a boil in the skin, and it is healed, and in the place of the boil there comes a white swelling or a bright spot, reddish white, then it shall be shown to the priest. And if, when the priest sees it, it indeed appears deeper than the skin, and his hair is turned white, the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore which has broken out of the boil. But if the priest examines it, and indeed there are no white hairs in it, and it is not deeper than the skin, but has faded, then the priest shall isolate him 7 days. And if it should at all spread over the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore. But if the bright spot stays in one place and has not spread, it is the scar of the boil, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. Or if the body receives a burn on the skin by fire, and the raw flesh of the burn becomes a bright spot, reddish white or white, then the priest shall examine it, and indeed if the hair of the bright spot has turned white, and it appears deeper than the skin, it is leprosy broken out in the burn. Therefore the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore. But if the priest examines it, indeed there are no white hairs in the bright spot, and it is not deeper than the skin, but has faded, then the priest shall isolate him 7 days. And the priest shall examine him on the 7th day. If it has at all spread over the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a leprous sore. But if the bright spot stays in one place and has not spread on the skin, but has faded, it is a swelling from the burn. The priest shall pronounce him clean, for it is the scar from the burn. If a man or woman has a sore on the head or the beard, then the priest shall examine the sore, and indeed, if it appears deeper than the skin, and there is in it thin yellow hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. It is a scaly leprous of the head or beard. But if the priest examines the scaly sore, and indeed it does not appear deeper than the skin, and there is no black hair in it, then the priest shall isolate the one who has the scale 7 days. And on the 7th day, the priest shall examine the sore, and indeed the scale has not spread, and there is no yellow hair in it, and the scale does not appear deeper than the skin. Yellow hair, blonde, huh? Wow, yellow hair. Wow. Leviticus chapter 13, verse 30. Yellow hair, thin yellow hair. And there is in it thin yellow hair. Then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. Wow. Blonde hair started out unclean, huh? Now it's the shit. Wow. Wow. Wow, man. I'm learning as I read, baby. And on the 7th day, the priest shall examine the sore, and indeed if the scale has not spread, and there is no yellow hair in it, and the scale doesn't appear deeper than the skin, he shall shave himself, but the scale he shall not shave, and the priest shall isolate the one who has the scale another 7 days. And on the 7th day, the priest shall examine the scale, and indeed, if the scale has not spread over the skin and does not appear deeper than the skin, then the priest shall pronounce him clean. He shall wash his clothes and be clean. But if the scale should at all spread over the skin after his cleansing, then the priest shall examine him, and indeed, if the scale has spread over the skin, and the priest need not seek for yellow hair, he is unclean. But if the scale appears to be at a standstill, and there is black hair grown up in it, the scale has healed. He is clean, and the priest shall pronounce him clean. If a man or a woman has bright spots on the skin of the body, specifically white bright spots, specifically white bright spots, then the priest shall look, and indeed if the bright spots on the skin of the body are dull white, it is a white spot that grows on the skin. He is clean. As for the man whose hair has fallen from his head, he is bald, but he is clean. He whose hair has fallen from his forehead, he is bald on the forehead, but he is clean. And if there is on the bald head or bald forehead a reddish white sore, it is leprosy breaking out on his bald head or his bald forehead. Then the priest shall examine it, and indeed, if the swelling of the sore is reddish white on his bald head or on his bald forehead as the appearance of leprosy on the skin of the body, he is a leprous man, he is unclean. The priest shall surely pronounce him unclean. His sore is on his head. Now the leper on whom the sore is, his clothes shall be torn and his head bare, and he shall cover his mustache and cry, unclean, unclean. He shall be unclean. All the days he has the sore, he shall be unclean. He is unclean, and he shall dwell alone. His dwelling shall be outside the camp. Also, if a garment has a leprous plague in it, whether it is a woolen garment or a linen garment, whether it is in the warp or wool or linen or wool, whether in leather or anything made of leather, and if the plague is greenish or reddish in the garment or in the leather, whether in the warp or in the warp or in anything made of leather, it is a leprous plague and shall be shown to the priest. The priest shall examine the plague and isolate that which has the plague 7 days, and he shall examine the plague on the 7th day. If the plague is spread in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, in the leather or anything made of leather. The plague is an act of leprosy. It is unclean. He shall therefore burn that garment of which is the plague, whether warp or woof, in wool or in linen or anything of leather, for it is an act of leprosy. The garment shall be burned in the fire. But if the priest examines it, and indeed the plague has not spread in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, or in anything made of leather, then the priest shall command that they wash the thing in which is the plague, and he shall isolate it another 7 days. Then the priest shall examine the plague after it has been washed. And indeed, if the plague has not changed its color, though the plague has not spread, it is unclean, and ye shall burn it in the fire. It continues eating away, whether the damage is outside or inside. If the priest examines it, and indeed the plague has faded after washing it, then he shall tear it out of the garment, whether out of the wool, or out of the woof, or out of the leather. But if it appears again in the garment, either in the warp or in the woof, or in anything made of leather, it is a spreading plague. You shall burn with fire that in which is the plague. And if you wash the garment, either warp or woof, or whatever is made of leather, if the plague has disappeared from it, then it shall be washed a second time and shall be clean. This is the law of the leprous plague in a garment of wool or linen, either in the warp or woof, or in anything made of leather, to pronounce it clean or to pronounce it unclean. Chapter 14. Then God spoke to Moses, saying, This shall be the law of the leper. For the day of his cleansing he shall be brought to the priest, and the priest shall go out of the camp, and the priest shall examine it. Indeed, if the leprosy isn't healed in the leper. Then the priest shall command to take for him who is to be cleansed 2 living and clean birds, cedar wood, scarlet, hyssop. And the priest shall command that one of the birds be killed in an earthen vessel over running water. And for the living bird he shall take it, the cedar wood, and the scarlet and the hyssop, and dip them and the living bird in the blood of the bird that was killed over the running water. And he shall sprinkle it 7 times on him who is to be cleansed from the leprosy, and shall pronounce him clean, and shall let the living bird loose in the open field. He who is to be cleansed shall wash his clothes, shave off all his hair, and wash himself in water, that he may be clean. And after that he shall come into the camp, and shall stay outside his tent 7 days. But on the 7th day he shall shave all the hair off his head, and his beard, and his eyebrows. All his hair he shall shave off. He shall wash his clothes and wash his body in water, and he shall be clean. And on the 8th day he shall take 2 male lambs without blemish, one ewe lamb of the first year without blemish, 3/10 of an eighth of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, and 1 log of oil. Then the priest who makes him clean shall present the man who is to be made clean and those things before the God at the door of the tabernacle of meeting. And the priest shall take 1 male lamb and offer it as a trespass offering, and a log of oil, and wave them as a wave offering before the God. Then he shall kill the lamb in the place where he kills the sin offering and the burnt offering in a holy place. For as the sin offering is the priest, so is the trespass offering. It is most holy. Then the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering, and the priest shall put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. And the priest shall take some of the log of oil and pour it into the palm of his own left hand. Then the priest shall dip his right finger in the oil that is in his left hand, and shall sprinkle some of the oil with his finger 7 times before the God. And the rest of the oil in his hand, the priest shall put some on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot, on the blood of the trespass, and on the blood of the trespass offering. The rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put on the head of him who is to be cleansed. So the priest shall make atonement for him before the God. Then the priest shall offer the sin offering, and make atonement for him who is to be cleansed from his uncleanness. Afterward he shall kill the burnt offering. The priest shall offer the burnt offering and the grain offering on the altar. So the priest shall make atonement for him, and he shall be clean. But if he is poor and cannot afford it, then he shall take 1 male lamb as a trespass offering to be waved, to make atonement for him, 1/10 of an eighth of fine flour mixed with oil as a grain offering, a log of oil, and 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, such as he is able to afford. One shall be a sin offering, and the other a burnt offering. He shall bring them to the priest on the 8th day for his cleansing to the door of the tabernacle of meeting before the God. And the priest shall take the lamb of the trespass offering and a log of oil, and the priest shall wave them as a wave offering before the God. Then he shall kill the lamb of the trespass offering, and the priest shall take some of the blood of the trespass offering and put it on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand and on the big toe of his right foot. And the priest shall pour some of the oil into the palm of his own left hand. Then the priest shall sprinkle with his right finger some of the oil that is in his left hand 7 times before the God. And the priest shall put some of the oil that is in his hand on the tip of the right ear of him who is to be cleansed, on the thumb of his right hand and on the big toe of his right foot, that the place on the place of the blood of the trespass offering. The rest of the oil that is in the priest's hand he shall put on the head of him who is to be clean, to make atonement for him before the God. And he shall offer one of the turtle doves or young pigeons, such as he can afford, such as he is able to afford. The one is a sin offering, the other as a burnt offering with a grain offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him who is to be cleansed before the God. This is the law for one who had a leprous sore, who cannot afford the usual cleansing. And the God spoke to Moses and Aaron, saying, when you have come into the land of Canaan, which I give you as a possession, I put the leprous plague in the house of the land of your possession. And he who owns the house comes and tells the priest, saying, it seems to me that there is some plague in the house. Then the priest shall command that they empty the house before the priest goes into it to examine the plague, that all that is in the house may not be made unclean. And afterward the priest shall go in to examine the house, and he shall examine the plague. And indeed, if the plague is on the walls of the house with ingrained streaks, greenish or reddish, which appear to be deep in the wall, then the priest shall go out of the house to the door of the house and shut up the house 7 days. And the priest shall come again on the 7th day and look, and indeed the plague has spread on the walls of the house. Then the priest shall command that they take away the stones in which is the plague, and they shall cast them into an unclean place outside the city. And he shall cause the house to be scraped inside all around, and the dust that they scrape off they shall pour out in an unclean place outside the city. Then they shall take other stones and put them in the place of these stones, and he shall take other mortar and plaster the house. Now if the plague comes back and breaks out in the house after he has taken away the stones, after he has scraped the house, and after it is plastered, then the priest shall come and look, and indeed if the plague has spread in the house, it is an act of leprosy in the house, it is unclean. And he shall break down the house, its stones, its timber, and all the plaster of the house, and he shall carry them outside the city to an unclean place. Moreover, he who goes into the house at all while it is shut up shall be unclean until evening. And he who lies down in the house shall wash his clothes, and he who eats in the house shall wash his clothes. But if the priest comes in and examines it, and indeed the plague has not spread in the house after the house was plastered, then the priest shall pronounce the house clean, because the plague is healed. And he shall take to cleanse the house 2 birds, cedarwood, scarlet, and hyssop. Then he shall kill one of the birds in an earthen vessel over running water. And he shall take the cedar wood, the hyssop, the scarlet, and a living bird, and dip them in the blood of the slain bird and in the running water, and sprinkle the house 7 times. And he shall cleanse the house with the blood of the bird, and the running water, and the living bird, and the cedar wood, the hyssop, and the scarlet. Then he shall let the living bird loose outside the city in the open field, and make atonement for the house, and it shall be clean. This is the law for any leprous, sore, and scale, for the leprosy of a garment and of a house, for a swelling and a scab and a bright spot, to teach when it is unclean and when it is clean. This is the law of leprosy. Leviticus chapters 8 through 14. Fuha Sabasiku. One more time. Fuha Sabasiku. Fuha Sabasiku. Oh man, sometimes like a lot of times, I'm still, a lot of times I'll be looking at the TV, looking away. I was not supposed to be looking at this like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's all to the good. But anyhow, one more time, Puraha Sabasiku, happy 7th day. But one more time, Puraha. And Yeyusi, Historia, Wezi. Puraha. And Yeyusi, Historia, Wezi. Happy Black History Month. This is my own little personal book that I put together. It's called Lazy Ass NIG. 3 exclamation points. Most people gonna think niggas. Yeah. And that's really what it's about. But it's not about niggas, it's about niggeries. Nigriti, Nigriti. I come from the land of the gods. Before it was called Africa, it's called Nigriti. Now, my book is about how lazy we is. Oh, this one I've been putting up my Twitter. On my Twitter page, every day I've been putting some up about how, you know, the people that have created things. I just didn't put in there about them being lazy. I didn't really, you know, pronounce my book that much in there. I'm just pronouncing it now, you know. It's for sale and it's not. You see what I'm saying? Because really, it's, you know, this is what it looks like on the inside. It's easy reading. You see what I'm saying? I got it so that, you know, you can sit down and read this and bam, just like that. But anyway, let me see who I want to. Yeah, let's give a shout out today for Black History Month. Yeah, to that lazy ass who got tired of picking up trash with his hands. How about that lazy ass who got tired of picking up trash with his hands? All LP Ray did was invent the dustbin. 8/3/1897. If you notice, and you look at most of the stuff that we created from the 1800s, most stuff they talking about 100 years old because we created it, but we act like we didn't. You know, we so nasty, you know, we so nasty. But what did I just say? Mr. Ray invented what? The dustpan? Wow. The dustpan. The dustpan. Wow. He's so lazy, he got tired of, man, I'm tired of finding some, man, let me find me something so I can, every time I get ready to clean this up. Wow. Lazy ass. That's what we do. We make this world go round. Ain't no such thing really as no Black History Month. It really is about world history. Everything that a black man and black woman touch, it makes the world go round. It doesn't create for us. It creates for the world. Stoplight worldwide. Miss Kenner came up with the tampon worldwide. Yeah. Yeah, and something I put it on my Twitter, but Miss Kenner, maybe Kenner made the tampon for y'all sisters. Anyhow, happy Sabbath-Cool. Fuaha Sabbath-Cool. Fuaha Sabbath-Cool. Fuaha Eneyisi Historia Wezi. Mimi bena na wewe, mimi bena na mimi. Fuaha Sabbath-Cool. Fuaha Sabbath-Cool. Moja Kubena. Peace.